everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game core set. Now I gotta say a couple things before we get into it. This video is not exactly how to play the game, but rather just a video explaining what you get in the core set itself. Now, from time to time I will go over how to do certain things, but this video is not necessarily how to play the game. Also, when it comes to looking at the miniatures in this particular set, I did review the X-Wing and TIE Fighter already, so I will put links in the description below to those videos, so if you're interested, you can check them out on your own. So enough of me yapping, let's see what comes in the core set. Alright, and this is everything that comes in the core set. We have our rules, tons of tokens, cards, dice, and our ship models. So here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to take a look at the dials and tokens. We're going to see how many of each we get and what some of them do. Then we're going to take a look at all the cards we get in this set, the ship models, the rules, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. Now it's time for my favorite part of my videos, the dial and token roll call, where I show you all the cardboard that comes in the set. First up, 3 maneuver dials, 2 TIE Fighters, and 1 X-Wing. And to go with those maneuver dials, here are the charts for the X-Wing and TIE Fighter maneuvers. 8 ship tokens, which are double-sided. 3 focus tokens. 4 evade tokens. 3 stress tokens. 3 critical hit tokens. 2 shield tokens. 12 target lock tokens, which are also double-sided. And holy smokes, 27 ship ID tokens consisting of 1 through 9. You also get 6 asteroid tokens, which are used for obstacles. 1 range ruler. Now, when it comes to the range ruler, it's used to measure different distances in the game, with ship placement and stuff like that. However, what it's used most for is attack. And here we can see it's separated into 3 different sections: short, medium, and long. Now, if an object is not within this radius, then obviously it's out of range and you cannot attack. For example, here we have an X-Wing Starfighter and a TIE Fighter right here. You can see right here, this is your firing arc. So, right there, we could get this TIE Fighter in range 2. So that's pretty cool. Now, each ship is different and has different rules. For example, some ships could use certain weapons at different ranges and so on. Regardless, it is a cool and useful tool in the game. 11 maneuver templates. Alright, when it comes to the maneuver templates, it all begins with this, the maneuver dial. So let's say we choose to go 3 with our X-Wing, the turn right there. Alright, so now that we have our maneuver of 3, you're going to match it with the template. Now in the front we have 2 little nipples here. You're going to slide that in like so. Hold this down tight. Lift up your ship. Move your template. And that's how easy it is to move a craft using the templates and maneuver dial. Nice. Now the next 3 tokens are used for missions, which are cool little storyline based ways of playing the game. First up, 1 shuttle token, 4 satellite tokens, and 8 tracking tokens. And finally, even though they're not tokens or dials, we have the dice. 3 attack dice and 3 defensive dice. So, whew, that does it for all the dials and tokens. So now let's take a quick look at the cards in the set. Alright, looking at the upgrade cards first, like always, I'll read the names of the ships, and then if you would like to read the paragraphs below, by all means, pause the video and continue when you're done. First up, Proton Torpedoes. R2-D2, some great artwork here. R2-F2, Marksmanship, love that photo quite a bit. And finally, Determination. So that does it for the upgrade cards. So now let's take a look at the ship cards. Alright, for the ship cards, first up, Luke Skywalker, Biggs Darklighter, great photo, Red Squadron Pilot, Rookie Pilot, Mauler Mythel, Dark Curse, Night Beast, 2 Black Squadron Pilots, 2 Obsidian Squadron Pilots, and finally, 2 Academy Pilots. So that does it for all the ship cards, so now let's take a look at the damage deck. And here we have the damage deck, consisting of 33 different damage cards, some are doubles. Now while playing the game, sometimes the enemy will hit your ship, and it will get damaged, and that's where these come in. Now when you flip these over, they have some different names and different results. So let's see, this one says Console Fire. At the start of each combat phase, roll 1 attack die. On a critical result, suffer 1 damage. That could be crippling. Here we go. Direct hit. This card counts as 2 damage against your hull. Oh man, that would stink if you got that one. Let's look at this bad boy. Munitions failure. Immediately choose one of your secondary weapon upgrade cards and discard it. You know, this game is built upon customizing your fighters. So if you have an X-Wing, you could put a proton torpedo on there or other things. And you know, now you're going to remove one, so that kind of stinks. Well, for you, the enemy, they'll be laughing their butt off. So all in all, cool deck, adds a lot to the game. So that does it for all the cards. So now let's take a look at the ships that come in this core set. Now looking at those ships, the first one up is the X-Wing, and this beauty is amazing. Just look at all that fantastic detail and paint. Now again, I did review these ships, so if you want to see a full review, look in the link in the description below. But briefly, for the length of this little ship, we're looking at 1 3/4 inches long, which is pretty nice when you think about all the detail on here. We have our nose cone, fuselage, canopy, which this one is painted pretty good, astromech droid, S-foil mechanisms in the back, our wings, our engines, 4 laser cannons, with some great detail on there, fantastic stuff, and even on the interiors of the wings. That's amazing. And you can take these off the stand. As always, you got to be a little gentle because these are very fragile, especially in the cannon areas. But a fantastic fighter nonetheless. Now, when it comes to the TIE Fighter, you get 2 of them, and the only differences here are in paint. Just minor differences with the black wash and stuff like that. However, these, for their length, are 1 1/4 inch long, and about 1.5 inches tall. So a very nice looking ship. So let's take a closer look at one of them. So here we have our TIE Fighter. As you can see, it's magnificently detailed. Our wind braces and solar arrays. Viewport, laser cannons, pylons. There's our hatch for our cockpit. In the back of the vessel, we have our ion engine and reactor. Pretty sick. And these also come off the peg. Again, be very gentle. Nicely done ship. I love the little details on here. Beautiful. And that does it for the ships in this set. So if you would like to see a more detailed review, by all means, click the links in my description below. But for now, we're going to move on and take a brief look at the rule books. Alright, for the rules, the core set comes with 2 different books. The first one is Rules of Play. Now this is basically your 28-page Bible on how to play the game for beginners all the way up to advanced players. So let's take a quick look at this. First page, it's everything that comes with the core set, dials, tokens, dice, everything. And the cool thing about these rules, especially for the one for Armada, everything is nicely laid out, color images. Right here we have how to assemble the fighter stand. Nice little diagram. Here's a playmat. And the playmat to play X-Wing is 3 feet by 3 feet. Sometimes they sell mats. You could also make a space yourself if you measure it. So that's kind of cool. Turning the page here. Here we have the planning phase, how to set up your maneuver dials, movement examples. We saw how to do that before. Then we have all the cards, how to read them, what everything means. Your range ruler. Again, more range ruler with your attack dice and how that works. Spend and focus and evade tokens. Some great photos here. And if you have some time, you could read this whole book and you'll be a master. Until the expansion packs come out, and then that's more stuff you gotta learn. This is all how attack dice work and defensive dice. So you're gonna need to know that. And now we have additional rules. Basically explaining how overlapping works, how to use ID tokens, stuff like that. And here we have missions. Now, I love the aspect of missions. To me, the game usually is just 2 people going at it. You know, last man standing type stuff. But the missions are a neat way of adding some spice to the game, giving you different scenarios to play through or goals. And I think that's very awesome and a nice touch. Moving on. Here we have more mission stuff. some credits, and this is the coolest section. I wish it was bigger. Now this tells you how they came up with their scale for the miniatures and who worked on them and what they had to do. It's very brief and I wish there was more. But right here it tells you every fighter, and some aren't once you get to the bigger ships, but for the most part, every one of the X-Wing vessels is 1/270 scale. And that is very important and awesome. I love having all the ships together. That is just great when you have them all lined up and you see how big they are compared to each other. That is sick. And finally, we have our quick references page, the final page. Here we have a bunch of quick little rules going right down what everything means, such as focus, evade, acquire a target lock, and also, very importantly, the ship maneuver sheets for the X-Wing and TIE Fighter, which is very important. You look at them, you get to see what your fighter can do, and you plan accordingly. So all in all, this is a great book, full of information, and if you want to play X-Wing, I recommend going on the Fantasy Flight Games website, downloading the PDF, or when you get the core set, just sit down and start reading this bad boy, as we saw some great information worthy of a good read. So now let's take a look at the next book. Alright guys, this one's not as long, I promise. It's only 4 pages, and this is the Quick Start Rules. So if you want to throw a game together real quick, everything you need to know is right here. From how to set up, what you need, opening the book here, how to set up your playmat, the dials, everything you need to know. And I like this. Fantasy Flight Games does a great job at breaking things down. So, kids or people that don't have time to read a whole book know how to play, and I think that's great. And on the last page, talks about attack dice, how to read your ship tokens compared to the cards, and so on. Some great stuff. So that does it for the rules. When you break it down, they give you some nice stuff. Everything's labeled, color, high quality paper, and that's great. And that does it today for my look at the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game core set. Now again, this video was more about what comes in the core set and not really how to play the game, but for fun I added little things here and there, so I hope everybody found it enjoyable. With this set, we looked at various amounts of tokens, some decent looking cards, beautifully highly detailed fighters, and you can't forget the rule books. But do I think it's worth picking up? Based on what we saw, my short answer is yes. But I do have to be upfront. X-Wing 2.0 comes out in September of 2018, so that sort of renders this a little obsolete. However, if you're a casual gamer looking for something fun to get into, by all means, pick this up, and also the Force Awakens core set as well, which I will be looking at a later date. So having said that, back to why I think it is worth it. First of all, the price. At the moment, you could get these core sets for anywhere from $31.99 to $39.99, depending on where you look. And for that price, you get everything you need for 2 people to play, and I think that is a great deal. Alone, one of these fighters costs about $15 here or there. So the fact that you're getting 3 fighters and all the tokens, cards, and rulebooks that you need, I think that's a great deal. Now, having said all those positive traits about this great game, I do have to bring up a minor little negative. If you plan on getting X-Wing for your kids or young adults, I strongly recommend, even for adult players, to pick up a little thing of super glue or crazy glue and just keeping it in a safe spot. Because sooner or later, as beautiful as these models and stands are, something will break or snap. I have about 20 some odd little fighters and large ships, and out of those, 2 of them broke. And believe it or not, it's not where the cannons are or wings or anything like that. It's the stands that connect the little peg underneath the bodies. They break off when you're taking them off the stand. So I recommend getting a little thin of super glue. If it ever breaks, a little dab will do ya. And if your model breaks, a little dab will do ya. But on the whole, I have been generally happy with the quality, but I did have to mention it because, go on, I wouldn't be a good reviewer if I didn't tell you the negatives as well. Now, I already did mention the price. It's anywhere from $31.99 to $39.99, depending on where you go. And if you want to pick one up, you can go on Amazon, eBay, Barnes & Noble, Hobby or Game Stores, MiniatureMarketplace.com, or FantasyFlightGames.com. So before we go, I recommend it for anybody who's a fan of Star Wars tabletop games. and little miniature ships. That's what got me into it, and I'm having a blast with these bad boys. Great miniatures and a great game. So that's everything I have to say about this core set today. I hope you enjoyed my little video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.